Hi, these comments are for IA. This is Michael Buckhoff from BetterTOEFLScores.com. You are taking advantage of my free TOEFL speaking practice test evaluation at my website at BetterTOEFLScores.com. I also have a free TOEFL speaking course, a free TOEFL writing course. So let's get started. So I have the speaking rubrics here. I always like to have these at hand when I'm scoring speaking. And I actually have your practice test. So let's listen to it. So I think the question is watching movies or reading books, which is better and why? And then here is your response. So I'm going to give you some feedback after I listen to it. Okay, here we go.
In my honest opinion, I strongly believe that watching movies are better than reading books for two purposes. First of all, watching movies helps us a lot to understand and grasp the historical events and aspects of any nation rather than reading boring books. For example, I remember when I used to study in my MA history class,
Okay.
and it was very difficult for us to read the books all the time. But once my one friend told me about a movie, to watch this movie and then get a good grasp of the historical events, and this helped me a lot in passing the examination. So if I had not gone through this experiment, I would never have passed that exam.
And that's not bad grammar at the end. If I had, I would not have. So I like how you're using the past perfect tense to talk about past and possible conditions. So you're making an attempt to use some advanced grammar structures, and that's good. So when I think about your score, I just don't see you scoring in the 4 area here. I really see you high 2, low 3. I'm thinking right around maybe 21, 22 points out of 30. In the rubric, when you look at 3.0, I think delivery, we have minor difficulties with pronunciation, intonation, or pacing. I think that describes it. You have fairly automatic and effective use of grammar and vocabulary, but I think you have some imprecise or inaccurate use of vocabulary or grammar in there. So I think that's a bit of a problem. You gave an example, but you didn't really give any specific name of any movie. And what about that movie was effective and kind of captivating you? So I think you could have done a little bit better with that. And that's with topic development there. But let me go ahead and give you some notes here. I listened to it and I've wrote down some notes here. Or I should say, I've written down my notes. Okay, so I think there's a few things that you can actually work on. I'm going to give you this written feedback and audio feedback by email. And remember that this is a free speaking service I offer. You can do one. That's it. I cannot afford to give you more than one free practice test evaluation. So I actually have a business. And part of the business is to give speaking and writing feedback to students all over the world. So let's talk about delivery. There's three main things here. You had minor hesitations and some repetition, which slightly disrupted the flow of your response. So I definitely think you need to work on that. Your rhythm and tone were sometimes choppy, which affected the naturalness of your speech. Your strategy here is to practice reading short academic passages out loud at a steady pace and record yourself to monitor rhythm and pausing. You can shadow native speakers using YouTube videos or TOEFL samples. I think that would help. Language use. Some grammatical errors affected the clarity of your speaking. For example, be careful with subject verb agreement. I think you said watching movies are, but it should be watching movies is helpful. So gerund phrases require singular, not plural verbs. You have a few missing grammatical endings. I think you said help us a lot. It should be helps us a lot instead of saying, well, I said that. So that impacts the accuracy of your response. Your vocabulary, I think this is probably one of the biggest issues in language use area. Your vocabulary was sometimes vague. Using more precise and academic word choices will boost your score. Your strategy, focus on mastering gerunds, subject-verb agreement, and verb tenses. Keep a personal vocabulary journal and practice using new words and speaking. I think that would help you. Let's talk about topic development. The thesis in your introduction needs to be more specific. Instead of saying you like watching movies for two purposes, clearly state what those purposes are. You might say, I enjoy watching movies because they help me relax and improve my English. And then, of course, you can present specific concrete examples for those two key points. So I did like you gave a good example, which is important, but you should mention which movie you watched to make your point more vivid and credible. I think that would help you with your topic development. Linking ideas between linking between ideas could be smoother. Some thoughts feel a little bit disconnected. So here's your strategy here. Practice using transition words. You did use some of these in there. Things like, for example, in addition, as a result, to help better connect your ideas. Outline your speaking responses before recording them to ensure logical progression. So final tips. Work on clarity and fluency by practicing with TOEFL style prompts daily. You can find those in my free Speaking TOEFL course at Better TOEFL Scores. Record and listen to your own responses to spot areas of improvement. Use the three-part structure for speaking. Number one, clear introduction with a thesis. Number two, detailed reasons with examples, or one. I'm going to show you in a minute how you can just use one reason. And then three, a short conclusion. So you're showing good potential, and with practice on grammar, rhythm, and example clarity, I think you can definitely get higher than 21 or 22 points. So keep up the hard work. And of course, as a business, I want to recommend my TOEFL speaking and writing feedback service. So at Better TOEFL Scores, you can learn about how you can enroll in this service so you can start getting feedback exactly like you did. Imagine getting this kind of feedback every day to help you measure your progress. You think that if you keep getting the feedback and I keep telling you over and over and over the same things, what do you think is going to happen? You will improve in those areas. That's exactly what's going to happen. So really consider that. It's not that expensive, and I can give you feedback and I can help you as you practice and improve. I can help you to monitor your progress throughout your TOEFL journey. Okay, let's take a look at an example practice test here. I think would score really high. I prefer watching movies over reading books because movies are more visually engaging and help me understand complex stories more easily. While books often require a lot of imagination and time, movies present information quickly using sound, images, and facial expressions, which makes the experience more immersive. For example, I recently watched The Pursuit of Happiness, a movie based on a true story. The emotional expressions of the main actor, Will Smith, helped me connect with the character in a way that a book probably couldn't. I could see his struggles, hear the desperation in his voice, and feel inspired by his determination. Watching that movie not only entertained me, but also taught me valuable lessons about resilience and hope. Overall, movies are more efficient for me when it comes to learning and emotional connection, which is why I prefer them over books. Now, I don't really think that this last part is that necessary, and you could even condense the intro a little bit to make sure you get within the 45 seconds, but I'm just showing you the kind of the organization of the responses. All right, so anyway, thank you very much for doing the free practice test evaluation. And at this point, you can ask yourself, A, do you feel that this kind of feedback is going to help you to improve your TOEFL score? If the answer is yes, then enroll in my service. It's easy. You're just going to go back to bettertoeflscores.com right on the home page there, and you can join my service today. Right there. All right, and thank you very much for completing this practice test.